One. Today we'll be doing a podcast on how changes in the business environment have enabled English Football League clubs to market themselves in new ways to their fans. We'll be doing this on different clubs, and to start with, I'll be doing it on Wrexham Football Club. Adam?
I'll be doing it on Middlesbrough.
Romario?
I'll be doing it on West Brom.
I'll be doing it on Leicester City.
And to start with, we'll be talking about the offline fan engagement strategies that each club do. Adam, do you want to start?
Yeah, so Middlesbrough have got quite a big emphasis on younger fans, so they've got loads of different strategies, such as they've got a Teesside Junior Football Alliance where they held, for separate games, they brought loads of younger teams along from local academies and stuff and gave them free tickets and things like that. And then they've got, for a pricing strategy, for their season tickets, for an adult season ticket it is £604, but they have a deal for an under 11 season ticket where you can buy an adult ticket with the under 11 season ticket for the same price to bring. So if you've got kids or anything, you can bring them along. And that is for the East Stand. And in the East Stand, it's more of like a family zone for families, and they've got things like games on offer and like behind the stadium and stuff. They've got Xboxes and things like that. So
Yours is quite similar to mine, but a bit more advanced, and that's the kind of department. My under 18 start from next season. The season tickets will cost £161 for the season ticket, and for the under 14s it will cost £46, which is quite ridiculous considering the match day price for an under 14 is £10. So £36 for a season ticket is pretty wild. And just going on to another fan engagement my club does in Wrexham is they do FAB meetings, which is the Fan Advisory Board meetings. And by the FAB, it is local fans that get involved in meetings to help the club. Instead of a massive owner, let's say like Man United, they kind of just don't have local stuff like engaging in the club too much. Whereas these guys will go like, right, we're going to do this for it, don't do this because it'll affect around us. Don't put the prices up too much because people won't be able to afford it. Whereas bigger clubs kind of just raise the prices depending on what they want to raise it to, really. Anyone else?
Yeah, just following on that, FAB, Leicester City also do a similar thing, but as they're currently on this sort of downhill spiral, 23rd in the Championship, going into League One, more than likely, at the end of the season. This FAB with the fans, it's more important than ever for them as sort of getting this this communication between the club and the fans, to get understanding what fans, want, sort of allow fans to share their points to the club. It's sort of, in a way, it will help the club, but I mean, just this downward spiral with the FAB, it will just keep benefiting the club.
Yeah, because it seems like Leicester just, are they improving much since obviously they're falling off quite a lot, but are they trying to improve anything?
I mean, looking around on Leicester City, they've not really mentioned what they'll be doing in the future to improve. They've just sort of continued to do the same thing, and I think it's sort of...
It's out of date, they're not going to be able to keep it up. It doesn't
like,
work for the lower leagues.
If looking at offline fan engagement, they've not really got an insane amount of stuff. It's sort of all the classic stuff, but they haven't really brought in anything really new recently.
Romario, what did yours?
On that point, I mean, West Brom they target more young people than adults and seniors. Their season tickets for adults is £359, with obviously disabled adults as well, which is £239. But with under 14s, it's actually £49 for all four stands, and then under 17s are also £89. So I don't think West Brom is looking for more profit-wise, but more engagement with younger people on that side. With under 20s as well, which is 125, and then mid-ranges of 20 to 25 is £219. They've got a range of different offers, and they're just trying to attract young people and more people to come watch the games and then probably try out for their academies, just to bring more fans and bring more revenue to the club.
Yeah, so it kind of seems like all of us are kind of, were you as well like going for the younger generations more than older?
I was just going to quickly look back at the prices for Leicester as well. I mean, looking at season tickets for adults, it's ranging about around 500 for this year, which, I mean, for a club that's struggling, if you're comparing it to what we use, your clubs, it's not great. And, under 14s as well, over 100 quid, 150, it's just... Yeah,
they go in a bit too high when they probably can't keep that level of gameplay, really.
No. I think they need to change that in some sort of way.
Yeah, well, drifting away from prices and stuff, because Wrexham in December 25 did player appearances at well, they did a Christmas hospital visit, and they also did in March this year a meet the players event. Do any of your teams really do any of those kind of events to places like hospitals or anything?
Yeah, Middlesbrough did a similar thing with the Christmas thing. They did a Christmas in the community where they hosted celebrations, including like featuring players and games and gifts and stuff stuff like that. I don't think there's anything like hospital visits or anything like that.
Around Christmas time, I think it's more a yearly thing, but they'll do visits to hospitals and different things like that. But more, if it's just out of the blue fan visits, I'm not too sure they want to really be doing that right now.
Yeah.
Just the position they are, I'm not too sure what fans would really.
Yeah, because look at mine. Just I've got the sheet in front of me. It looks like they kind of do a fab meeting every 3 months. Do your guys kind of stick with that, or is that kind of a Wrexham special thing?
Mine's not really every 3 months to do it. Probably more yearly.
Okay. Yeah, so it's not really staying as in touch maybe as. So that's probably a thing where Leicester again are falling down.
Yeah.
Mario, do you?
Nah, my West Brom's not. They don't really hold those meetings as weekly as Wrexham. I feel like Wrexham, since they have this big, huge fan audience with also new owner Ryan Reynolds, it brings more fans. So I feel like now they've got the team and the money to probably even progress to the Premier League.
Yeah.
They would hold those meetings, but West Brom, it's just, to be honest, it's just survival at this point, and how to find a way to support their club with their money. They have different ways, like instead of like meetups with fans, they hold like different packages. Like they even have West Brom has a celebration cake for some reason, but that's £60. So they try and give back. They try and give back to their fans, but I don't think they don't really hold those meetings so regularly, and I think that's the reason why they might not be in the position to drive up for success.
Yeah, because I think especially fab meetings being quite crucial for a smaller society like Wrexham. They're a big club now, but obviously it's quite a hard, like fast kind of space they've gone pretty well. Small space, big space they've gone pretty quickly, and fab meetings are quite important for them kind of clubs because obviously for fans and stuff, they've just gone from the Nations League to the Championship in how many years? Like it's just one of them fast kind of growths, and as the club, if you know what I mean by their mindset, is still a bit National League kind of system. They're kind of binning players off quite quick and stuff, so their systems are improving, but they're also staying in touch with their fans like the National League teams would. Whereas I think some clubs, maybe like how with this, they do a fab meeting every 3 months, whereas everyone else might do it once a year. It's just staying in touch with their fans really.
Yeah, I think in a way, sort of for Leicester City, sort of more the opposite. I think they've still sort of got the Premier League mindset.
Yeah.
Whereas I think they need to sort of change that to really help them survive. And I think they sort of still be focused on trying to get back to the Prem, but in reality, they should be focused on staying in the Championship.
Yeah, because it's a bit more of a scrappy fight in the Championship, whereas the Premier League is a bit more tactical, you could say. And I think Leicester staying in that kind of Premier League mindset is not exactly the best for the Championships.
No.
Yeah. Adam, do you have anything to input?
No, you can probably move on to online.
Yeah, should we move on to online?
Yeah.
Right, moving on to online. Adam, do you want to start again?
Yeah, so Middlesbrough have got like in their fan engagement plan for 25-26, they've got an increased social media content like push to just boost digital connections between fans and clubs. So they've tried to just on all their social media platforms, so Instagram, TikTok, all that, they've just tried to push as many posts, so any sort of behind the scenes content, player staff, like interviews and things like that, just to strengthen the engagement between fans and players and boost their social media followings.
Yeah, with your with Middlesbrough, with your fan, I've just seen that it's, the followers is 200,000, but Wrexham's, I know they've got Disney Plus shows and everything, but 1.5 million, big difference.
It's a massive
Yeah,
difference, yeah.
Like that's Premier League club kind of following counts.
Yeah.
Like, does anyone else have like what your follower counts?
I mean, mine's, well, if we're looking at Instagram, that alone they've got 7.7 million followers. So I think them being in the Prem, that's boosted that a lot.
Yeah. And that's showing like their Premier League kind of status still. I know they're not there, but like that's showing that they've still got that follower fan base from those years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Romari, how's yours?
Mine's not as good as obviously your other teams. Mine's like 403k on Instagram.
Yeah.
But it's been a long time since West Brom has been in the Premier League, so their followers has definitely decreased over the years.
Yeah. Well, with your teams and stuff, like when do you get the most likes? When do you get the most comments? Like how do your teams like work?
Well, I mean, if you're sort of looking at the TikToks, they average sort of 50k views, but where recently we've got the most engagement is when it's come to more the female team content. Because their most recent one was Alicia Lehman announcement video, which got 4 million views on its own. And must show any likes, but it got quite a few likes as well.
That's same with mine. Like with Wrexham's TikTok, it kind of ranges from an average of 50k to 100k on TikTok, whereas the women's one has got 2.4 million, which is quite a big difference from 100k. And it's just this woman making a bit of like a, but they're all in a circle. I'm guessing the captain's in the centre, captain, and she's just basically saying, I think that they've beaten the champions, or they are champions. But it's just showing like there that the women's fan base has also got a big impact on the clubs. If your guys.
Middlesbrough don't. They're average of around 10 to 20,000 per video. There's not any sort of outlying ones that have got millions of views or anything. So it's still quite small. So obviously, the big push towards growing the social media and by posting more content is definitely going to help them.
Rari, does yours?
Yeah, with mine, obviously we do have a women's team. But I see that most of the posts that hit like the 10k, 20k mark is when star players are talking to the phone. So obviously they say some words and then you see their face and they say a couple words either on match day or game day. That's where I see West Brom getting the most likes on their videos and their social media, especially on TikTok.
Well, just thinking about Instagram now, with the likes and stuff. So Wrexham, to be fair, kind of range from the 1,000 to 5,000 likes, quite a big stretch, but mostly in game time it's like 5,000. But then there's some of them which are just kind of a bit different. So it says, happy birthday to the co-chairman, Rob Mack. And that's got 6,600 likes, which is quite a lot for like just a random one for these smaller clubs. Whereas one of the goal ones only had like 5,500. It's a bit, like, obviously I know Wrexham have these, the amazing owners they have, Ryan Reynolds and Rob, but like with your clubs, how do you, like your teams respond to these, the fans respond to these more or less relevant posts?
I think for Wrexham, obviously, because they've got a big social media presence, that I think it's more, they'll get likes for the things like their owners rather than the actual football content. Because that's obviously where they stand out compared to loads of different teams.
Do your teams post like goal videos and stuff? Because from the looks of it, Wrexham posts some, but they don't post them all.
No, Middlesbrough don't. They just post like scores and then manager interviews and player interviews. They don't really post like any highlights or anything like that.
Anyway. Sort of the same with us. It's more just sort of still pictures of players, kicking the ball and different things like that.
But it looks like quotes, some of them.
They also quote coaches, the players. What looks to be the goalkeeper there, saying that they've got to keep believing. And they've got to try and keep up and stuff like that.
And then Romario, how's yours look on Instagram?
I have to agree with you lot. Mine is more of still pictures, not too much of the full build up to the goal. My post also has a lot of the West Brom team just huddling up, being together, trying to get as many people in the photo and the shot as possible. So mainly more of a huddle than actually recording the team goals.
So just thinking about like videos and stuff, do you think like all the clubs here, even Wrexham, even though they supposedly have got way higher followers, likes, everything, but they could all improve on that kind of sector of maybe posting goals when it happens, maybe 10 seconds after, like some of these other clubs do, especially Premier League clubs. And it probably will receive a lot more likes from someone, let's say, just at home. They can't watch the game on the TV, but they can watch it on their phone. They get like that attention from those people that maybe don't buy TNT, whatever, or Sky. Do you guys agree with that? Maybe that all your clubs could?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it'll definitely bring more eyes to just the games in general and bring more interest.
And especially like with them being lower league as well. Like I know the Championship out of all the leagues in the world is like 10th or so, which is remarkable for a second league in the country. But it could bring a bit more to make them push up further. To if every club followed on some of them their footsteps, like kind of copied them.
Can I just quickly go back to sort of on match days? With when looking at sort of how your team sort of post the lineups for the team. Mine for Leicester even they do sort of the more original, but also the one that works where you've got the set of players going from top to bottom with lineup at the top, and that tends to get quite a few sort of views and likes. As well as sort of looking at half-time and full-time pictures. Their recent game against Swansea where they lost 1-0. It got quite a lot of views, but it also got a lot of attention from sort of fans where sort of one of the main pictures at the top of the comments is a picture of I'm not too sure what it is, but it just says delete the club.
I think it's FIFA Crewman, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. And that alone got nearly a fifth of what the actual post got for likes wise.
Well, with your clubs, like Connor said, how do you post the lineups? Because I've got pictures, so you can actually see the players. Like for me, not being a Wrexham fan, I can see the players and go, oh yeah, I remember that person, like Doyle. He pretty sure is either bought from City,
Yeah.
and a couple of players I know the names of and know the faces of. But I don't think I'd be able to like clock the name and face without the picture. How do you guys do it?
Villa was different. They've sort of got one player as like the picture, but then they've just got the names at the bottom. So obviously that's a bit different to yours. It's harder to recognise names. You can't really put names to faces, which is probably not the best strategy to do it.
Yeah. Murray, how does yours?
My team obviously as Middlesbrough does it, they have obviously the one player that's actually gonna play the game. But with my post now, I got to swipe over and then they have the full team list of their whole players and they start in 11 and the substitutions. So it's a bit of a swipe, but they normally put one. It's not normally the same player, but they put one player at the front just to show off, and then they have they have names. Unfortunately, they don't have pictures of the starting 11, but they just got names with it.
Yeah, so it looks like all three of yours are the same. How they've got a person, the lineup, and Wrexham's just different with having the pictures. Obviously, I know a couple of the Championship clubs do. But then going to your like match day one where it just says match day, do you guys have like obviously there's the lineup one, but do you have one beforehand which is just like saying it's match day?
Yeah.
Because with mine, I don't think this is actually working for it because they usually get over 1,000, 2,000 likes. This one's, I know it's got 900, but it's got 900 likes and 4 comments. It feels like it's a bit of a waste of time. They're not getting any attention from it, so what's the point in posting it? Do your guys have a bit of the same? Or
To be fair to Leicester, they've got sort of a bit of a more unique one where they've got a live sort of video of fans in the background with match day in front and what club they're up against.
Yeah.
But again, that only got 1,000 likes, so I think they are still sort of missing out in terms of fan engagement online. But I mean that's at least something unique that they've done.
Yeah, like I know obviously 900 to 1,000 is only 100 difference, but you've got more than Wrexham, which has 1.5 million followers. I know you've got a lot more, but like it still like kind of shows me that kind of line of you get more attention. I know not a lot more, but you get more.
Yeah, but I also think that for Leicester having 7.7 million followers, only 1,000 likes just sort of shows where the club is right now.
Yeah.
They should definitely be getting more.
Yes, I 100% agree. How do your guys like kind of do that kind of match day stuff, or do you not do it at all? Like, it just shows a picture of match day.
It's just one post for match day. That's really it.
Do you get much attention from it, or
too much? It's usually just around the like likes wise, all sort of match day stuff, so lineups and everything, all sort of get around like 1,000 likes.
Yeah.
So it's all pretty similar. But
yeah, because Romario, actually, you go first, and I'll say mine.
Yeah, just quickly. They surprisingly with West Brom's match day posters, they actually get a lot of likes. I got one post that has 2,000, and then I got another one that has 3,000. So I think with West Brom's match day posts, there's a lot of colour and there's a lot of different colours, different players, and also they got fans in their match day as well. So I think they're doing very well with their match day, obviously, but after that, you don't really see much likes after that.
So could I just also say, sort of, I think you getting West Brom get with about 400,000 followers or something like that. I think that also shows that West Brom's have still got more likes than Leicester that's got 7.7 million views. I think that shows how sort of West Brom's got a more committed fan base.
Yeah, that's true.
Compared to Leicester and maybe you guys as well. I'm not too sure.
Because it's a bit like, well, that's actually very true, because there might be glory spotters, there might be people that supported them because they're in the Premier League and now switch because they're not. But they're still following them, but it kind of doesn't change them, so that changes them maybe viewing a post, liking a post. Same with Wrexham, they might actually follow them because Ryan Reynolds owns it, but they don't actually care too much about what they actually do as a team. But they follow it. Like, how do you guys feel like maybe that some, because obviously you've got less followers, but do your fans pretty more committed to the team than maybe some of ours, which are just there for the ride, really?
On average, I'd probably say more committed fans and stuff, but I don't think it's nothing like outstanding. I don't think.
Romario's yours pretty the same.
My fans, they're very supportive. They're very loyal. West Brom actually did win a Premier League, and I feel like because they've won such a Premier League, their fans, it's just still loyal to them. Even when you do stadium tours, that's the first thing you see, even though they're 23rd in the EFL. But I feel like since they had that strong fan base before when they won the league, I just don't think that really swayed them to move on to different teams. It's just got a loyal fan base.
Yeah. Moving it a little bit to another topic, but I've just seen this as well with shirt sales globally. I'm guessing a lot of yours, maybe not Leicester, but your guys might be more UK based. But for Wrexham, obviously the US is a massive one for us. The UK is also, and Asia. And apparently as well, just reading this, we became one of the top selling lower league clubs worldwide for shirt sponsors and kind of merchandise. And like just wondering like how yours go about this. Like do you do further away like we do USA, but obviously that's Ryan Reynolds coming in and being a massive part in that. But how do you guys?
Yeah, so Middlesbrough they have a thing in Ohio where they have sort of like fan events specifically there, so they have like watch along parties and stuff for specific games.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's sort of them trying to expand and get fans from different countries to expand the business.
Yeah.
Sell the product.
I mean, with their current owners being sort of Asian, that's sort of also a main area where they could get their shirt sales from.
Yeah.
Especially with the former manager, where he got a lot of support from fans all around the world, just sort of for who he was and sort of the kind of manager that he was and how committed he was to the club. I think that has benefited them I'm not too sure what country he's from, but I think that's benefited that country.
Yeah. Romario, how's yours?
It's not too bad. I mean, obviously, my owners are also from Asia, so we do kind of have that kind of like the Indian side of Asia. So we got that basis right there. But other than that, I feel West Brom is mainly is more in delivery of English. They don't have that abroad figure where obviously you may have those, but West Brom is just mainly English based, so it's hard for them. I think that's what they're also missing. That it's hard for them to reach out of the country. But shirts wise, it's weird because shirts wise they might not do too well, but since they were in the Prem, as I always say, since they were always in the Prem, they actually have a 24-hour TV show of them recording all the Premier League games. They mainly hit the Premier League games because that's what people want to see.
Yeah.
But back in the time, they have their own channel,
Yes.
So I think that's how they really get their, say, abroad fans.
Yeah.
Say so they do have they might not do too well with the shirts, but they do have their own channel where they can just showcase their previous history.
And just going to another fan engagement thing. So like obviously we talked about abroad just then kind of and sales, but how do you guys how do your clubs interact with fans? So with Wrexham they do polls, they look at comments, behind the scene content obviously with the shows they've done, and obviously the owners are quite interactive with fans. How do your guys how do you do it?
Mine sort of, well, I keep saying mine. Leicester is just sort of that the Feb meetings. They're sort of the main way that they engage with fans to sort of get opinions and feedback. But recently, they've not really done much other than towards the end of seasons and towards the new seasons where they sort of try to, in a way, sort of sell more things.
Yeah.
But not really engaging properly with fans.
Yeah. Mario?
Mine, since my team's more of a community-based one, they have a foundation team or a foundation section. Obviously, they got the club foundation. They did a foundation that ran a couple football games for the elderly that were suffering with cancer on the pitch. So they had a game they had, obviously, if you unfortunately had cancer, then you would play on the main pitch of West Brom and just kick ball in front of all the fans. So I think that's where they really hit home with how they deal with any side stuff. For now, that's all I've got.
Middlesbrough's pretty similar to everyone, really. I think the main thing that I'll lead back to what I said at the beginning that makes them stand out is they've got quite a good focus on youth. So they've got one of the main goals is to amplify youth voice. So they take into account lots of younger fans' opinions and give them the chance to speak up and stuff about the club. So see where they're going instead of just relying on older fans, and I think that gives them much more of a different perspective as what other teams may have that don't focus on younger fans, because younger fans will obviously see football differently and see how the club is differently to older fans.
I'm trying to think, do we have anything else to add?
I know.
Oh, we all good?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Right, that's the end of our podcast. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much.